Morning, guys. It's 3:12 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 25th of January, 2025. Uh, I wish I could say a zombie right now, but I'm still awake. I'm still alive, and just seeing how things are just not doing so well. This is the waiver of John C. Roseman, California. And seeing all these nice, lovely political crap that's popping through the YouTubes. A few days ago, CNN's Jim Acosta was trying to get one particular senator to acknowledge what was going on and concerning about the January 6th people getting released. People, shit. Terrorists, what do they call them? They weren't protesters who were just. Well, might as well call them terrorists, internal. But they, I think about 1,600 got federal court tried, sentenced, and Trump just pardons their ass. Some of them were actually very violent. Definitely part of the destructive scenery in Capitol back on January 6, 2020. And apparently some of the senators and congresspeople don't want to keep reminding themselves about what the hell happened and deny it, deny it, deny it, despite the fact that CNN, Jim Acosta was showing them what the hell was going on. CNN said enough. The executive said enough. Tried to do restructuring of their morning and afternoon and evening format, and Jim Costa was just pushed aside. Costa's still in Washington, but I don't know if he's coming back on the news or not. But the formats have changed. The anchors have shifted. But I think about Jim Acosta, who's been very vocal against the old gas bag, he's out of it. I think by the word of Trump. I wish him well. Because apparently the gas bag controls media now. He made a lot of threats. And so did the billionaires made a lot of threats, I guess. A lot of pushing and pressuring. Jim was doing the best he could. He didn't like Trump one damn whit. I mean, Trump made all promises, and now he's becoming more and more of a dictator. Jim should have been in there and staying in there. But I think Jim's going to be walking. And I kind of like him. Some of the independent media, well, they're 50-50 on the guy. And they're thinking that the legacy slash corporate media is, yeah. I'm just going through some of the news articles they've got on here. Yeah, he's FUBAR. I'm just trying to go through some of the. I'm trying to go through the news articles that they've got on here in the past couple of days. Fox News is probably happy about Jim Acosta being left, but they're making very little negative stint about it except for Joe Walsh. he went after CNN and he was telling them what a cowardly thing that corporate did. Only because they wanted to keep good graces with Trump. When Trump was in office, they were constantly hitting him. They had to keep him accountable. And Costa was one of them. He was trying to tell him he's not giving up. And he knows Trump is a trash bag, basically. He didn't say it, I said it. May have been a chief antagonist, but they never trusted the guy in the first place when he got in office or even running. So I wish him well. Meanwhile, Trump's still in California, sleeping it off. He'll be leaving California in several hours. Without even taking a look at Rancho Palos Verdes, who had, within a year and a half of landslide issues, overdeveloped plateau that I've talked about a long time ago. A lot of water in the soil underneath, with a lot of heavy duty developing on it over the decades. It turned it unstable until it could no longer deal with more water being saturated into the soil without it being leaked out, and a lot of development pushing on top of the soil. So it slid. It slid, destroying landscape, property, and everything else. State and federal disaster plans and groups, agencies. There's no contingency for landslide, especially for their area anyway. Back in the 40s and 50s, they may have had geologists that said this is going to be problematic, but commercial developers said, nope, let's develop it. So they put in commercial, they put in residential, they put in a damn golf course. Hell, even the golf course, I don't know if it was starting to show signs of wear and tear, but the city of Rancho Palos Verdes and several other communities tried to pitch in because they were getting affected by it. But even they can't save themselves on that one. I mean, they tried. I don't know if it's still sliding or not. We haven't heard any news about it afterwards. But it's still there. There is still a lot of damage, a great deal of damage. They could use federal help. But FEMA's not going to help them because they haven't got anything for them. It's not money, it's bureaucracy. If they don't have it in their conditions and clauses and whatever red tape they got to cover a landslide, they're not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole, and neither is the state of California. Hell, even Newsom wouldn't even touch them. All they needed was repair jobs on their property for the entire plateau. Plateau is stuck. They're screwed. They spent money, the town did, to get water drained. They had to get the water drained out of it to stop the sliding, to stabilize it. But it cost a great deal. And it causes a lot of damage if they don't do it. I think they stopped it months ago, but we haven't heard anything from them. And over the past couple of weeks, since January started, we've had fires. Lots of fires. Damaging. Taking more of the headlines. Trump came out finally to do his political stump speech and threatened California with conditions. Figures the asshole will still be trying to do his political bullshit. Voter registration. California's got to turn on the spigot from Northern California down to Southern California. Well, Governor Newsom from California was saying that he's already initiated investigations. Why California dried up a little bit in their fires and the fire hydrants, that they couldn't fight some of the fire. There's a lot of stories going around that I even got caught up in the damn thing. Mechanisms to deal with. People, politics, God knows what else got thrown up in the smoke screen there. All I do know is we've got property damaged beyond repair. We got ashes all over the damn place. It's still an unhealthy area that maybe breathing is suck. You know, have to get respirators and stuff for them. People have a long way of rebuilding, not to mention depending upon FEMA. But Trump threatened FEMA. He threatened to get the place reorganized. He's taking away disaster. I mean, there was disasters happening up in North Carolina because of the hurricane hitting the area last year. Not to mention, we've got the winter freezing people out. Where's the disaster relief for them? Biden made sure that they had disaster relief, but Trump, if he's going to be dismantling FEMA and putting it into the way he wants his place to be, people are going to get screwed over left and right. Trump's only took one particular news conference, was the people up in Palisades. But he didn't bother to see Eaton. He didn't see Altadena. He just, I don't know where the hell this guy's head laying down at this point. But he didn't see the people who needed to see him. Maybe they'll get to see him today. Maybe. But if not, Trump screws people over again, left and right. He'll want your vote. He demands to get your vote. He demands loyalty. When you ask for help from him, it's like, oh, I want more loyalty out of you. I want. Comes over here, lords it over people. Voter registration, he was lording it over Newsom. Newsom, did I say? Apologies, Governor Newsom. It's not all right with the name. We've got voter registration out here. You show your address, get official documentation to show them at the polls, and you get to do your voting. We got real ID thing going on out here in California that I still got to get into it. I got to get the money for the damn thing so I can do this shit. That wasn't bad enough. Okay, and that's about Jim Acosta. Right? Okay, so now to history we go. Into the stuff I was watching. United States military, Marine Corps, actually. They're helping out in different areas for border security. But they're also helping out in the first time ever transportation. Meaning, Ospreys are being used for transportation of illegal immigrants all out of country, dropping them off somewhere else, coming back in, picking up more. First time that I remember in history that we're using military as immigration tools. As much as I understand about the Posse Comitatus, military can't be used for policing, but they are being used for border security. And Biden was going to be using the military if we actually had the laws passed last year to help out with the border security. Didn't happen. But while it was being reported, the numbers were still low. Now it's raiding cities now. Schools terrified, churches terrified, whole communities are terrified. We're afraid that the military was going to be used as a police force. By federal law, they can't. But it doesn't mean that any other federal agency out there cannot be used as a police force. So basically, if a Secret Service agent comes on the property, they don't know whether or not they're going to be doing an ICE raid or not. The FBI is definitely law enforcement. Department of Justice, yeah, using several agencies under its command to do the ICE raids. Immigration Custom Enforcement shit. So now we got that going on. Osprey's transporting people out of here. Not for rescue, but for immigration. I made a video. I'm not taking it back. It was for friends of mine that I'd hoped maybe they would see the message. They probably hadn't. Well, that's up to them. I'm not going to do a damn shit more. I did what I could. Just now we got Oversight Committee by Marjorie Screaming Green. Screaming and yelling at people that she wants this, she wants that. And she's being put in place by other people, so they're having a screaming fest in Congress. That's your politicians at work. Yeah, I know there was a video out there that Putin made. I didn't see the damn bullshit. Canada is still thinking Trump is still out of their minds. They're still saying no. At one time, the past couple of weeks, a representative in Denmark's government told Trump to go fuck himself and not get in Greenland. So I don't know what the hell Trump's major malfunction was. Try this one. Federal agencies that deal with the Department of DEI. Well, he wants loyalty issues, and loyalty will be rewarded if they turn snitches. He's forcing his agencies he's just inherited because of the election. That he wants them to be absolutely loyal to Trump. Not to the Constitution of the United States, but to Trump. Try this one. One of the other channels online was trying to make Heritage Foundation was trying to make their quote-unquote rational argument regarding the 14th Amendment does not guarantee birthright citizenship, despite the fact we got it in plain language that it does. If you're a kid, you're born on U.S. soil and territory, you're an American citizen. It's automatic. Of course, you could refuse the damn thing when you get older. Just value yourself and be something else. But no, they say that 14th Amendment doesn't guarantee anything. Out of bullshit people left and right. And yeah, I tried to stay out of the damn nominations, especially when you get those major heavy duty picks. I never talked about Marco Rubio. I'm not touching that son of a bitch. He's already got too much collateral damage on him as it is. Hedgeseth? How do you pronounce his last name? Oh, screw him. Yeah, he's SecDev. He doesn't have that much. Well, he's got little experience in the military, I think. But people are on edge about this guy. He was torn apart in the confirmation hearings. But we'll see if he's going to be Trump's boy or not. Or trash bag's boy. Try this one. A junior senator, actually a junior representative over in Tennessee, wants a third term for Trump. Can't be done. Well, technically it could be done, but it's going to be requiring a lot of people he needs to convince on both Senate and House of Rep. Ain't gonna work. Is she? Yeah, she's up. I'm gonna start screaming for me anyway. My dog. Anyway, in order to get an amendment processed in, you have to have constitutional conventions happening in each state voting on the issue. It takes some time to get that going. Hang on. She must be obeyed. Sorry, had to attend to my dog. Okay, so how does this work regarding the amendment process? Well, founding fathers of the United States had put into the Constitution a process of adding things to the Constitution, such as the amendments. There are processes, a lot of them. And basically what we do is do the convention. We got to get consensus going on in each state for an amendment to be processed. And then it takes 2/3 vote in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. Now, right now, we got about 50-50 with a majority in the Senate, with the Vice President doing the tie. House of Congress, well, actually, House of Representatives. It's a majority for the Republican part, Trumplican Party, but I'm trying to get the U.S. Constitution online on this one here. It's Article 4 or Article 5, I think, in the Constitution. 2/3 majority in each chamber. Once they get that going, that's Article 5. Okay, it's their process. That's what I wanted to find out. We're not going to get that. Despite the fact we got a senator who wants to glory, power, and God knows what's going on inside his skeevy head, concerning about him being from Tennessee and doesn't know his ass from a hot rock. This guy wants Trump back in office for a third step, for a third term. Ain't happening. Originally, when we had World War II happening, before in those days and earlier than that, there was no limitations on how many times the president can run for office and stay in office. Now, until during World War II or a little bit after World War II, if I'm not mistaken, that Roosevelt can do it. He limited it down to 2. And Congress agreed. Constitutions, conventions happened. They put the amendment in there. That can only be 2 terms. 8 years is enough. Why 12? That adds a hell of a lot of stress. But when they thought of the Constitution a long time ago, there were a few presidents out there who had multiple terms. Some just had 1, 2. I think a few of them actually had 3. But nobody ever thought of, in the 17 or 1800s to the early 1900s, of having a third term. If they did, they would have had the process going on, but they didn't want it. They weren't thinking about those things. So now we got the process being reversed. It was a thunk. Doesn't work. It's almost like somebody's trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment sometimes. People don't like the 14th Amendment because it's a process and it guarantees, but they don't want to hear about it because it affects people one way or another. Those who get the riches and those who don't. They want the wealth, they want the power, they want it all. Aristotle was saying it a long time ago. I remember some of the parts of that democracy is the most easiest form of government not to guarantee liberty or freedom. No. It guarantees that a person can be screwed over by votes if he's listening to somebody else who's going to be buying his votes. Most corrupted. I mean, yeah, we had the one person, one vote, and a majority would rule, and that would be it. Almost similar to mob rule, but mob rule is like no vote on that one, except if you're going to be screaming and yelling that you want to do some bad things to another person. They said, "Well, majority rules, so you're gonna be sorry." Yeah, right. In our Constitution that we created, in the Republic that we formed, we're trying to give the minority a voice, at least a place to argue their point, in order to sway voters, in order to sway representatives that maybe they had an idea that was worth going over. Some ideas were good, and other ideas were just plain out pain in the ass. But that's what's happening. We had the Trumplicans. We had people coming out of the woodwork saying that this is America now. Racial hatred, bigotry, indifferent injustice, all in a name for them, and not to mention the people controlling puppets with money. Lots and lots of money. Like that's going to mean a damn thing. For some people are struggling, and money's the only thing to be. It's the only thing that matters for some people. Money. So when everybody could use a little taste of power and money. Not at the cost, assholes. Not at the cost. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't deal with it. I'm struggling enough right now as it is, so I'll see if I can do another video. I'm still trying to keep track of my mamas right now, so